I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no.
When Katt Williams finally reveals unsettling details about Diddy's freak-off parties, Diddy loses it. We've taken off the gloves. Nothing is being held back by Katt Williams. Additionally, the entertainment industry is out of control.
And against them, then they sometimes have a problem, but we don't let that change the content because that's all you know me for, is that I'm quite likely to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times, just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right, because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely. Early on, you was accusing me of being...
Katt, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because I'm favored by God. Like, when I see people's wives and stuff, I don't even look at them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to look at nothing I don't want to have. Because I know how blessed I am. If I look at it, I got it. That's how Diddy be feeling.
Come on, man. So, you're not supposed to look at anything that you don't want?
Not me personally, just because God has given me literally everything I ever even pump faked like I want.
I got something. Because there seems to be like the last year and a half, there's been all this talk about these Hollywood parties.
Let's talk about it.
Amber, what's really going on?
I don't know.
You ain't never been invited to these Hollywood parties?
I've been to probably everyone. I've been to every puff party. I've been to every white party since 2009. I've been to every party, and
you just go in the right room, not the wrong room.
I don't think there's rooms, Chad. I'm gonna be honest. Now look, I'm gonna be very, very transparent on the show. If these freak-offs are happening, it's on a completely different day than the actual puff parties.
Your day, okay.
It's not that day because every time I was there, Puff was there the whole time. You know, he got the Ciroc. He's on the DJ booth. He's the host of the party. Mm-hmm. I will say that. Now, I've had this conversation with Ray J. Ray J is one of my best friends. Mm-hmm. I said, Ray, did they ever invite you to a freak off? Because they never invited me. Mm-hmm. And I done been at these parties. I just feel like, why I didn't get the invite?
Because they know you don't get down like that.
Maybe they know I don't get down like that. Okay, cool. But you would think maybe an assistant would come up and be like, hey, you like girls? Or like, you know, you into... Never. No one ever asked me that. They never asked Ray J either. And me and Ray J was talking about it. We were like, I done been to the party, the after party, the after party. I never seen none of that stuff. Right. But that's not to say that it does not happen or invalidate people that... But I do think it's a different day that I'm just not invited to. I don't know.
You think it's a plot because we saw it happen with Russell Simmons. Now we see it happen with P. Diddy. You think it is a plot or a ploy to take down prominent, high-powered black men?
I don't know. It really depends on the evidence, right? Because they did say that there were drugs in the baby oil.
The barriers surrounding Diddy's meticulously guarded business began to crumble the instant Katt took the stage and revealed what may turn out to be one of the most startling revelations in the history of stardom. The truth is now coming out more quickly than anyone could have predicted. In the profession, Katt Williams, the frank comedian, renowned for his unvarnished honesty and incisive observations, has become a lightning rod. He has never been one to shy away from well-known figures, and he targeted Sean Diddy Combs specifically this time. Not only did Katt hint, but he named in a shocking new interview that has already received millions of views. He went into unsettling detail about the purported freak-off parties that Diddy threw, where it was said that the distinction between exploitation, influence, and entertainment merged into something far more sinister. These weren't just extravagant parties with celebrities and luxury, Katt said. These were regulated settings where power was displayed. Influence was used, and visitors, particularly those aspiring to higher positions, were purportedly expected to follow unwritten rules or face the repercussions. And the ramifications are astounding. These events were more than just elite gatherings. Katt said he characterized them as exclusive, secretive, ritualistic, and intended to push limits.
I don't know. That's alleged.
Is that true? You think that
I don't
Puff had
know.
1,000 bottles of baby oil?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know because the internet is fake, like we said earlier.
Right.
You just don't know.
Right.
But if that is in fact true, then that is a problem. One thing I do know about Puff is that he's an abuser. You know, he abused Cassie. We all saw the video.
Right.
It is not okay. And but as far as the freak offs, I don't know about that. I
Did you have, when I say relationship, I don't mean intimate relationship, but did you have a relationship with Puff Daddy where you cool? Did you talk? Did you know him? Things like that?
I would say that we didn't talk on the phone and we didn't hang out, but I was always invited to the party.
Okay.
And that's the extent of our friendship.
Okay. Now, is it true that you were at the Halloween party that Puff's sons and Ray J got into it?
I was, yes. I was right there.
What happened?
They just pressed Ray J. They were just like, stop talking about dad. And then Ray J said what he said, like something like, I know your dad better than you know your dad, or something like that. And then it just got ugly for a second. Yeah, because I'm cool with Christian and Justin and Quincy, but then I also love Ray J, and he's like my brother. And I'm just like, guys, please just stop. It's not worth it. Y'all don't want to do this. Like, so it, you know, and I told Ray J, I said, look, that's their dad. What do you expect them to do?
Right.
Like, of course they're going to stand up for their dad. You know what I mean? Like,
And rightfully so.
Right.
But it's reported that Breezy, Chris Brown, was the peacemaker. Is that true?
I think I was the peacemaker.
That was you.
I think, well, from what I remember, I was going to both sides, like, y'all don't need to do this. But maybe Chris came down at some point. It was in the garage. I'm not sure.
What have you learned about fame?
Oh.
Because you've had more than 15 minutes. You've had two decades of it.
Yeah, it's going on 16 years. What have I learned about fame? That half of these motherfuckers don't know what they're doing. All the publicists, all the fake ass managers, all the business managers, and they all manipulate all of us into thinking that they have all the answers when we ourselves have the answers. As the entertainers or the socialites or the famous people, we got here because of us.
Before a manager, before a publicist.
Yes. And some people just have that it factor, you know? But it's funny because very early on, you get the publicist, you get the manager, and they tell you like, oh, you know, if you want to make money now, you got to twerk. You got to sell sex on the podcast. You got to just say that you girls and guys. So you eventually start to lose yourself in this fake entertainment world because they're intimidating you every day that you're going to lose it all.
The kind of things that are only discussed in private or encrypted messages, until someone like Katt Williams intervenes with names, locations, timelines, and a bold challenge to anyone who attempted to suppress him. The events seem like conspiracy theories. He did more than just imply that he threw these events. He gave a detailed account of who went, what supposedly transpired behind closed doors, and the buying, selling, and burying of reputations. And the consequences were immediate. For Diddy, according to sources, Katt's direct and honest reality caught Diddy off guard. He thought things may finally settle down after months of media and legal turbulence. However, Katt's disclosures have rekindled the flames, and the fire is threatening to eat up everything in its path this time. Insiders claim that Diddy was incensed when the interview was broadcast. His legal team rushed to get statements ready. Major networks were contacted, and damage control efforts were launched. However, it was too late. The secret had been revealed. Answers were demanded by fans, media outlets, and other celebrities. Did anyone else know? Did anyone else go?
If you do not do what they tell you to do, instead of standing 10 toes down, but that intimidation changes you as a person.
Is fame a drug? Because I believe it is. I believe it's suffocating. I believe it can be intoxicating. And people once you become hooked on it, you'll do anything to keep it.
Maybe for some people, not for me. I don't give a shit about being famous.
You famous now. You can't be unfamous.
You cannot be unfamous. No, you can't be unfamous. But yeah, I don't actively do things to, you know.
To be in the public spotlight, just like, look at Amber Rose, look at what she's doing, look at what she's wearing.
I'm really quiet.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really quiet with my so, yeah.
Money. What have you learned about money?
Oh, Lord. Just save. Save. I remember I spent my first $1 million and I gagged because I was like,
what did you spend it on?
Going to Miami, Fontainebleau, partying, bottles, outfits, clothes, shoes, dumb, just a bunch of dumb. And then I was like, then I got a business manager like, you need to pay taxes. And I'm like, what? So then I was like in the hole. It was like very early in my career, but I didn't do that again. I definitely did not do that again.
What's your best and worst purchases?
My best and worst purchases, you know, when I had new money, I had like 7 cars for no reason.
What the?
And now I have 2 cars. So, yeah, I don't live the same way anymore. I'm more, I save now and I think about things before I buy them.
Right.
I'm definitely going to take this dress back and like, I'm going to exchange it for another dress when I have another interview. So.
Let us know so we can make sure you take it back before we are here this evening.
Yo, listen, I put the little receipt in my drawer next to the bed. I'm taking this shit right back.
Lord have mercy. What's the number one thing that you learned in the entertainment business?
No one genuinely likes you. They just use you for what they need you for.
Really?
It's not real life, no.
You really believe that, Amber?
Yeah, I know that for a fact. Yeah. No one genuinely cares. Like, at your
It's
lowest,
all transactional, huh?
Yeah, at your lowest point, that they don't give a. It's like, when are you going to get better so we can get you to do what we want you to do?
Wow.
And why had this been kept so long a secret? Katt's implication that he's not finished talking was much more unsettling. He implied that the information he provided was just the start and that there are more names, stories, and unsettling facts about what has been going on behind the velvet curtains of the entertainment business. And if that's the case, Diddy's troubles are just getting started. It's more than simply a PR disaster. A legal catastrophe could result from this. Katt's remarks are like fuel on an already blazing fire, as Diddy's public image is already plagued by past accusations and ongoing investigations are allegedly linking him to numerous controversies. And Diddy isn't the only one. The industry as a whole has been negatively impacted by Katt's remarks. He's encouraging people to take a closer look and consider what they haven't been told about the ugly side of celebrity culture, the price of fame, and the abuse of power. Formerly silent people are suddenly beginning to talk. The internet accounts that are anonymous, former co-workers, cryptic posts, and behind-the-scenes rumors that seem to support Katt's allegations. When the industry's most effective weapon begins to fail, it becomes silent. The public is also not going to back down. Social media has taken off. Comment sections are overflowing, hashtags are trending, and people are calling for accountability, transparency, and actual repercussions rather than simply PR platitudes and hollow excuses.
Well, I think 2 things can be true at the same time. One is, yes, those courses are designed, they're instituted, they give inmates, if you will, access to those courses because the belief is those courses will help, a person's behavior and curb them from doing things that would find them in front of a judge. I also could see that serving a dual purpose. Second purpose being it makes you look much better in front of the judge. As I told all my clients, if you're doing things that the court can recognize that is actually helping you deal with the behavior that puts you in front of the judge in the first place. So here, violence against women, domestic violence is something that the courts is a big no-no in society as well as the court. And so I can see the fact that he's taking these classes being something that the judge will take into consideration during his sentencing. And on top of that, the drug class is the same thing. Because I believe, if I was Diddy's attorney and given the way the evidence came in, I'd certainly be like, look, these things happen during dark times where I was in a drug, induced haze to where I was doing and acting in ways that I am ashamed about now. But during that time, it was because drug, sex addiction, and things like that I'm now addressing.
Well, you actually kind of sound like Diddy's defense attorney, Mark Agnifilo, because he literally made essentially the exact same argument, especially during the bond hearing. But I'm curious to know, obviously there are skeptics of this where they think it's strictly just to look good. It's just for...
Many have long maintained that the entertainment industry is a well-executed facade with a darker side. And now a comedian with nothing to lose and receipts to burn is bringing those claims into the spotlight. Katt Williams did not act impulsively. He destroyed the entire playbook. Additionally, his disclosures regarding Diddy's purported freak-off parties are making people reevaluate their preconceived notions about the power dynamics of celebrities. It has nothing to do with shock value. The truth is at issue. And Katt was explicit about it. What everyone else is scared to say, he is prepared to utter. Diddy's world is falling apart. We're only seeing the beginning of a scandal that has the potential to completely transform the entertainment industry if the rest of Katt's story is even half as outrageous as what he has already disclosed. It has long been believed that Katt Williams is a wild card, too forthright, too honest, and too erratic for the system to regulate. But that's precisely why people are listening right now. Clout is not what he's after. He isn't trying to get a movie role or a record deal. He is speaking from personal experience, having witnessed decades of industry manipulation, celebrity games, and moral decay up close. He talked about being invited, observing what transpired, and witnessing well-known figures, some of whom are still adored today, participate in activities that would make the typical person feel ill. However, this went beyond simply revealing identities. The entire culture of quiet was being dismantled by Katt. He yelled at the executives, handlers, and assistants who were ignoring him. He was clear. This was never about the perverse indulgence of a single man. This system was designed to penalize the weak and shield the strong, and that system is now being brought into the public eye. We're hearing about payoffs, NDAs, and careers lost because someone dared to speak up. Time are starting to line up.
You don't expect somebody to be sending texts telling their abuser that they love them or that they want more of what took place. However, there are other people who see it from maybe more so the lens of a victim or someone who's been abused, who would say, you know what, that's not so beyond the pale of reason, because the abuse has been so entrenched in this person's mind that they then fall in love with their abuser. And so that's not something that they would, look askance upon or look down upon. So, one of the things about being in trial that I always remind my clients, is that despite all the rules that the judge gives people, no one leaves their life experience or their opinions at the courthouse door. It all makes its way into the courtroom and ultimately into the jury room. And that's why you can see such people who are on one side, like celebrating Diddy being acquitted on the much more serious charges, and other people who are like, how did this happen? I am upset. I feel like victims did not get justice today.
Right, exactly. And emotions did run really high, especially when the verdict came down, because I think I myself was pretty surprised at some of the jury's decisions in relation to some of the charges where they found him not guilty. But, obviously they made their decision. They listened to the evidence. They saw all the exhibits, and they made the decision that they did. And say come sentencing that Sean Combs is sentenced to maybe a couple years behind bars in prison. But do you think even after this trial, after everything that we've learned, after the many civil lawsuits that were also filed, do you think that there's any type of way that Sean Combs can have a comeback at this point?
Well, I think there's certainly a comeback that could be crafted and created in which we as the public may see. Listen, this is a person who has lived his life in the public light, in the limelight, for decades, okay? And so, as has been...
Lawsuits that vanished suddenly, contracts that mysteriously ended without explanation, and superstars who disappeared for a spell. Connecting the dots as Katt's expose. And what's emerging is a picture so ominous and unsettling that even knowledgeable insiders are shaken. Even though his name is in the headlines, Diddy is no longer the only focus of this. It concerns a whole ecosystem that is based on fear, control, and silence. And the dam is already collapsing. There are more voices, beginning to join in. All were compelled to reply, some denying, some confirming. You can no longer afford to act as though it never happened. They no longer have control of the story. What about the fans? They're split. While some feel vindicated, others are devastated. Many were just in a state of shock. Diddy stood for prosperity, authority, and unchallenged control for many years. However, he has now come to represent everything that has been let to grow unfettered behind the scenes of celebrity culture. Katt Williams was more than just a rumor. He brought about a reckoning. This transcends both music and celebrity. In an industry that has functioned without accountability for far too long, it is about accountability. Did he too? He's running out of hiding spots. This is more than simply a scandal if Katt fulfills his pledge to disclose more. We are discussing a change in culture, one that could ultimately compel the entertainment industry to face its most sinister realities. Hold on tight, for what Katt began as more than just a tale. We're all following the storm as it develops in real time.